Hi, it's Mark, again here at Checkmark. So today I'm going to show you a little something, a little trick, I guess you could say. You know, have you ever wanted to make a big poster and you don't have a printer that can make a big poster? Well, I'm going to show you how to take this small 8.5 by 11 page or smaller photo and turn it into this huge photo. All right, so stick with me. Let's go. We're going to be using Adobe Photoshop CS3 to change our small picture into a gigantic poster. So the first thing you want to do is go to File and click New. And change your width to inches, and we're going to choose 66. That's how big we want our poster to be. And then we're going to follow our width by 34 inches, and we're going to change the resolution to 72 inches for 72 dpi for our poster. Now, the reason why we're using 66 and 34 because those are multiples of 8.5 by 11 sheet paper, which is your standard letter size paper that we're going to be using to do this this poster. Okay, so we're going to click OK. Next, we want to open up the image we're going to use or we're going to make the poster of. So we've got this image here, one of my favorite cars, the Tesla Model S, and we're going to select it, and we're going to say Select All, and then Copy, Edit, Copy. Now we're going to paste it into the window, into the canvas that we originally set up right here. So we say, make sure we're on the right layer, and we say paste. So next thing we want to do is set up our guidelines. Our guidelines will allow us to divide our canvas into 8.5 by 11 sheets, so we can then fit our image and create our individual 8.5 by 11 pictures, which we can print out. So what we want to do is go to our view and make sure our snap to grid lines is active. So snap to and then guides. Then we want to go to our new guides and add in our guidelines. So because this is 8.5 by 11, we're going to put in our vertical lines. We want our pages to be going sideways. So our pages sideways or in landscape orientation are 11 inches long. So our first line goes at 11. Our next line goes at 22. $33. $44. And $55. Now we do our horizontal lines. Our first line is going to go horizontal at 8.5. Next line, again horizontal, 17 inches. Our next line is going again horizontal at 25.5. And there we have all our lines, and you can see how the pages are going to be divided up into individual pages. Now we want to put in our margin lines. So the margin is important, so we will then have an overlap of the picture when we print it out. So what we want to do is decide how big of a margin we want. We're going to use 1/4 inch. And again, we're going to go back to our new guides. And we're going to put in a vertical 0.25 guideline, which appeared right here. Then we're going to put in our our right guideline, which is going to be at 65.75, which is right here. Now we're going to put in our horizontal guidelines. Okay, so there you have it. We have all our page guidelines plus our margin lines. So the next thing we want to do is scale our photo so it sits inside the margin lines. And we'll say apply. Okay, so here we have our photo. It's ready to go. So next thing we want to do is to get our marquee, our square marquee, which is here in the top left-hand corner in my particular case, and use that as our guide to be able to make our individual 8.5 by 11 images. So you want to make sure that layer 1 is selected. You come over to make sure your square marquee is selected. You come over to the first square and you highlight the entire square with the marquee. You then take the marquee and move it just inside of the margin lines. On your keyboard, you're going to press Control J. And you'll notice that after pressing Control J, we have a new layer, layer number 2 in our case. That is the new image that from this particular square. Now you want to click on layer 1 to make sure that is highlighted again. Draw another marquee over that same corner and choose the square, move it to the square just below it. And again, click Control J. So you're going to repeat this until a separate image has been made for every single square. Okay, now that you have all of your pieces all clipped and ready to go, in my particular case, I have my original plus 24 squares, giving me 25 individual layers for my image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the main image. Then I'm going to go to the first image at the top here, layer 2. I'm going to hold down my shift key and select all the other layers. And then we're going to go to our alignment. We're going to align all of these layers to our horizontal, or to our left edge. Then we're going to align all of the layers to our top edge. Now we return to our toolbar and choose Image, then Trim, to trim down the workspace to a single 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So now it's time to print our individual images. So what we want to do is just to hide all of the images except for the one that we are going to print. Let's hide all of these. We're hiding them by clicking on the eye so it can't be seen. So we have only our first layer, and we're going to say File, Print. Make sure it's in landscape mode and scaled to fit the media. And we are going to print it to our laser printer. So once we have them all printed, we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so at this stage all you really need is a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to use some packing tape, some clear packing tape, which is on a rolly thing. Alright, so we're just going to basically just lay it out in the grid pattern that we had, starting with the first row. Now, you'll notice that there's a bit of an overlap. So what you want to do is find the right piece for the right spot. That one goes there. This one goes here like that. So we're going to trim these two and put them together. So you really should decide which end you want to try to trim and stick with that end all the time. It's really important to look for your vertical lines, or any vertical lines that stand out in the photograph, and make sure they're lined up well. You'll notice here at the bottom we've got some lines that really need to be lined up properly to make the picture all work nice and smoothly. Okay, so now we've got the first row done. We've got it all tacked and it's looking pretty good. So So now we got to set up for our second row. We do it the exact same way as the first row. But we have to be a little conscious of the bottom edge and make sure we line up our bottom edge. Now this is a little different. Now in this case we have to, not only do we have to cut off the top edge, we also have to cut off the side edge as well too. What we need to do is take the tape, the clear packing tape that we're using, and just do all the lines and seal up all the lines so it'll make it one flush piece. Okay, so now we have gone from this to this. It did take a little while to do, probably about, I guess, an hour and a half. But I guess, you know, as you get better at doing it, you'll be more proficient and get done really quick. But yeah, so it was that simple. All right. Well, thanks for joining me here on another episode of Checkmark, and maybe we'll have some new and more interesting things to come. See you later.